Hey guys, what's going on? This is Brad from the Ed Army, and today, What's the Scoop is back again. Obviously, we are covering ST19, the second half of the new starter decks featuring Digimon Liberators, and we have Fable Waltz, which is going to be the yellow structure deck focusing on the puppets, or today, at least for the video, we are focusing on Shoemon and its additional line to kind of get you up to speed, as What the Scoop is always focusing on, giving you the information you need to understand what's going on with the latest Digimon card sets, and or give you an exclusive look first before these things come out, obviously, because we do have a long period of time before these arrive, and we have some brand new cards to go over today. So obviously, buckle up, let's go into it, and let's start off as we have the first card, or at least the brand new card associated with this line, and it's going to be the new level 2, which is actually a returning card and a returning Digimon. We have Kiaramon. As Kiaramon finally returns in this structure deck as a brand new level 2 egg with a very unique effect, and I'll read off. So when attacking once per turn, if you have another Digimon, you draw one, and obviously you're drawing one card from your deck. So pretty much this is a generic egg to allow you to draw, and it is the first one for yellow that really gives you a non-conditional draw that's easy to meet, as all you need to do is have another Digimon. As we move into Shoemon, which is returning technically for when we get this, will be returning, and this will be its technical second printing when we obviously get this, focusing on the brand new Liberator Digimon, as this is also a brand new Digimon, but this is its second printing, as we already have the promo, and its effect reads as follows, as it's a level 3, play cost 3, 1k DP, and it reads as follows: on play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add one card with the puppet trait and one card with the liberator trait among them to your hand. Then you return the rest to the deck bottom in any order, obviously. And for its inheritable effect, you have your turn. All of your opponent's security Digimon get minus 3000 DP. And now we'll move into the new level 4 associated with the deck. Obviously, it's going to be Shoemon returning, as this is already a card we have in a promo, but we actually have a new one right here, as it reads as follows, and has pretty decent long text for its main effects, and then it has a small inheritable. Now reading off, it actually has a security effect which reads, you may play one card with the Liberator trait and a play cost of 4 or less from your hand or trash without paying the cost. As the new keyword Overclock finally appears, this is the first Digimon with Overclock, which is Overclock, and it focuses specifically on the puppet trait. At the end of your turn, by deleting one of your tokens or one of your other Digimon with the puppet trait, this Digimon may attack a player without suspending. And finally, its inheritable is the same as the level 3 Shoemon, which is all of your opponent's security Digimon get minus 3000 DP. So that's pretty interesting, and the new keyword is here. Now we move into the level 5 that's associated with this line, as we have Chaperamon, which is, interestingly enough, a brand new Digimon, so we'll get into it now, as its effect reads as follows. On play, or when digivolving, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3000 DP for the turn. If there are 3 or more Digimon, increase the DP reduction of this effect by 3000, so pretty much a minus 6k. Additionally, this has a interesting inheritable where all turns, once per turn, when this Digimon would leave the battle area other than by one of your effects, by deleting one of your tokens or one of your other Digimon with the puppet trait, prevent it from leaving the battle area. Now we move into the level 6. As we take a look at the level 6 Sendrilmon. So Sendrilmon is effectively the boss of this strategy, and it has a lot of effects, but more importantly, let's get started. So Overclock does return here, as it focuses on the puppet trait and allows you to attack when spending, and we basically have that effect. But the more important thing is this has a blocker, so obviously really good to be defensive, but when digivolving, you may play 2 familiar tokens without paying, or obviously without paying their cost. These are Digimon Yellow, they're 3000 DP, and the on deletion, one of your opponent's Digimon gets 3000 DP. So effectively, these are used for combination with Sendrilmon's effects, and Sendrilmon having Overclock. These are effectively how you're going to be using the tokens. But more importantly, before we even get into that, I want to finish off with the other cards, because we still have 2 more cards that are designed specifically for this strategy. So we will look at them. So we have the first, or technically the first memory fixing, Ariza Kinosaki, but this is technically the second Ariza we have received because we have the one that's the promo. And it reads as follows. Obviously, it's a memory fixer, so at the start of your turn, if you have 2 or less memory, you set it to 3. And then, obviously, your turn, when an effect plays one of your tokens or a Digimon with the puppet trait, by suspending this tamer, that Digimon gains Rush. And additionally, as security, you just play this card. And then we finally move on to the final card released in terms of being directly made for this set, which is the option card, which is Noble Family Arts. As we read first, its main effect. So its main effect, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 6,000 DP for the turn. Then, if there are 3 or more Digimon, increase the DP reduction of this effect by 6,000 DP. So effectively, I just want to make this clear. It doesn't say then, but it probably will say basically as an addition. So think of it like what's the card? Lonkei Aristato, the Pulsemon card, or any of the things that have the additions of basically if there's a condition that's met, it's buffed. So the best way I could think about this is that instead of it being like you have to meet the condition directly, it's basically going to say if you have 3 or more Digimon, you just basically do a 12k reduction. So just want to make that clear first. And then also basically for its security effect, it's just activating its main effect. So that's pretty good. Okay, and that's it. So those are all the main cards we have out of What's the Scoop, or at least for this edition from the structure deck. We do have the other Puppet Digimon line with the Monzemon cards, but the reason I didn't want to go over those specifically is that I do believe this is getting its own archetype treatment as it goes on. We don't know if it's meant to mesh with everything until maybe we have another line. So for right now, I'm just giving the specific cards that are going to be synergizing with each other because they're of the same Digimon line. They're basically designed to go with each other. So pretty much, let's get into, obviously, the final portion of What's the Scoop. Basically, how is this going to work going forward? Okay, so with the introduction of Overclock, I do believe that this strategy is a bit more unique than others. One of its advantages it has with the promo cards it has, at least released immediately, is that you're basically doing a slow style of climbing and then rushing your opponent towards the end, but very similar to ST18 and Galemon and the whole Terramon and the basically that whole line for Liberator with Shoto Kazama. His cards are focusing on dealing with the opponent's boards aggressively, so by running into them constantly and by forcing them to be suspended and then basically running them over and then buffing your own side of your Digimon by suspending your own Digimon. It's basically focusing on clearing the board and keeping it active for yourself. Whereas with this one, I do believe the main strategy's focus is to slowly aggress your opponent, but do it slowly to where the Puppet Digimon effectively work together to boost themselves up and set up an offensive line. As the strategy will revolve around mostly just basically stunning your opponent Digimon with the promo Shoemon, also dealing damage technically through the inheritables of the promo Shoemon and the promo Shoemon. Basically, those kind of work in tandem. So pretty much you're basically stunning down your opponent's Digimon, also reducing them through yellow shenanigans, of course. But then when you get into something like the Syndromon, you're basically using Overclock to basically attack at the end of a turn. But, basically you have barrier. The thing with Overclock is it's like barrier, but you don't have a suspended Digimon after, is the best way to put it, because you have to delete effectively to have access to that attack, but you don't suspend. So pretty much it basically allows you to be more aggressive without actually having to risk losing a body or a resource. Now, when it comes to what you can mesh with this deck is very pliable, at least for right now. We do need to wait, I think, a bit more till we get more cards out of the EX7 set, which is going to focus on Liberators, because the whole next wave of support could be either really generic or puppet based, with to a point where it really wants you to play like outside source that's not like Shoemon and stuff. But if you want to mix decks right now, some of the cards I see that are very beneficial to this deck is probably the first one I'm going to go for is Kazuhamon. So Kazuhamon's a card that's been basically, I wouldn't say it's power crept, but it needs a deck to be in, and I think this is a good deck to use Kazuhamon. Kazuhamon basically allows you to use your Family Arts or the Noble Family Arts option card really well, because it is a 5 cost, so you will use it, and then basically after you use it, that card's just really strong. and you can basically spam out your level 4 and lower bodies from underneath the Kazuhamon. So, you do have access to that. It does allow you to play like blue cards, so you can play like Kaiser Nail, which is like the main card that most people play, that allows you to kind of just do these types of aggressive pushes. I do think this deck is aggressive, but it just kind of lacks on being speedy. So that's kind of one of its things, is that at the end with Kazuhamon, you can play some options that maybe you can't play in the deck normally, and allows you to kind of facilitate this type of pressure. Another way you could go with this deck, funny enough, is I was looking for maybe if you wanted to supplement a lower type of a different color low end. The only one I'm seeing that actually would be pretty beneficial would be running a red-yellow bottom with the Agumons that are basically all of the Shine Greymon line supported ones. So all the ones that are red-yellow, they cost 1 to Digivolve. They can Digivolve on top of a Koromon for 0. My suggestion would be, if you want to run this line, run basically not all Agumons, but a good amount of Agumons, so you don't have to worry. Basically, you wouldn't even need to run the ones that search, so I could say you could even just drop it off. The main reason you do this is that you just play yellow Koromon as your egg, so your Puppetmons can, your Shoemons can Digivolve on top of the Koromons and not have to worry about anything. And also, basically, the reason this actually works, guys, if you're wondering, is that the Agumons all have generic inheritables for the most part that focus on when your red or yellow tamers suspend, and you can minus DP buff. The one from BT13 pops cards, so you do have that benefit. Also, the one from EX4, the reason that Agumon's really good in this deck, I think, is that it gives you additional memory when it's pushed out, because if you have Ariza, you have either Ariza's, or if you want to run any other yellow tamer that kind of suits the deck well, that card will net you a memory on top. So you can start your turn with 4 memory and allows you to go further, or 3 memory. So pretty much you do have some options to go into with this deck if you want to mess with the colors. I think one of its only problems is that it's not designed, because they're not vaccines, so they can't really work with like obviously the vaccine support. You can't really run them with Patamons and stuff like that, because you're never going to hit any. It does work with the puppet cards, so there are some puppet Digimon that you can look into, so give that a shot. But pretty much that's all I've got for you guys today with What's the Scoop. There's just a little bit of the stuff I've been looking into since this. I've been taking a bigger, deep look at these cards, and they're pretty good. So if anything, remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Also, What's the Scoop is back, so obviously you have seen the one focusing on Galemon and Terramon and the whole Shoto Kazama line and his Digimon, so just wanted to give you guys that heads up that we are doing some more stuff focusing on the Liberator stuff, and it was about time I do some Digimon card content again, just because I finally have time and I'm happy. So yeah, but as always, this is Brad from the Ad Army signing off, and for all of you out there, to sign on.